Hey, Jenell, hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm
Lady in red.
good.
Lady in red is looking hot.
It's so funny because it's freaking pink, and I'm like, I think it's the thing. I don't know what my Zoom is doing, but listen, I think, okay, we're going to do this without, I might put my headphones on. I don't typically use them, but
That's okay.
they're doing construction outside, and every now and then there's this effing beeping sound. And I'm like, okay, y'all need to stop. I'm
Yeah,
like,
no,
so
it's all good.
I got to make sure I can hold on because I haven't set these up before. I never used them. I never
Yeah,
need to.
take your
Hold
time.
on.
There's no rush.
Let me find the microphone. So the speaker, it says that select the speaker. I don't know if that's going to do it or not. Can you talk for me?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, yeah, that's,
Good.
that's what
You can hear me okay?
yeah, I can hear you. These are not going to, I don't know. I think I have to set it all up in my thing. It's okay.
No,
We're good.
it's no
And you
problem.
can hear me
I
okay?
Yeah, excuse me, I also have the same situation. I have my neighbor cutting his lawn. So I don't know, I don't think I can hear it, but it's there, but I don't think it's going to make the mic. So
Hysterical.
that's good. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we're not gonna, this won't be long. We go like maybe 30 minutes, but
Okay,
I know enough about you to have some fun.
let's
And
do it.
yeah, but it's all good. And then once we get this the beginning of this edited out, then I'll send you over a copy. And at the end, I'll let you you can post whatever link you want to post for whatever
Yeah,
you're doing to plug what you want to do. And
perfect.
that's all cool. So we'll get started right now. So okay, appreciate you all joining us again. Welcome back to the Fighting Network. I enjoy doing my podcast every week, and I've got a wonderful person online with me today, joining me as my guest. I found her on the streets of the internet, and she is a rock star. And this is Jenell Kelly. Jenell, you're from Florida, right?
Originally from Philadelphia, but I have lived in South Florida now for over half my life. So yeah,
Okay, we're going to say you're from Florida.
I get
And,
it.
Florida's a great place. My wife wants to move there, but I like New Hampshire. I don't know, the Four Seasons, it's all good though. But Jenell, we're going to take some time here and talk about, because on the Fighting Network, we talk about what it's like to be in business for yourself and doing your own gig and having to figure things out on your own and being creative and all that kind of stuff. And most people struggle with that. And so, Jenell, I know that you have your big thing is you help women get unstuck. Well, I help men get unstuck.
I
So
love it.
we'll have a good talk. So tell me about helping women get unstuck.
All right. Well, I was the stuck woman, right? So, now that I have had the tools and the transformation and all the things in the community and all the people that have supported me in this, like, it's about a 7 year journey of transitioning from full time in healthcare as a registered nurse. ER trauma was my thing. I loved it until I was just completely exhausted, right? On every level. And I was like, okay, I want out of this, but I'm like, this is what I've done my whole life. And I really talk about feeling stuck, like completely stuck. And at that time, I really didn't see a lot of possibility or opportunity or know what was out there or even really know myself beyond being a nurse. So that was huge for me to be able to move out of that position.
And so now you've been doing this, you've been an entrepreneur, say, for 8 years. Is that right?
Yeah, like 8 years. And it's been a freaking roller coaster, right? It's like it's challenging in itself. And then you have life just kind of like throw you like some like, boom, take this, boom, take that. So here you are navigating through the whole new experience of entrepreneurship. And then you're gonna have life's gonna give us challenges. I mean, that's just a given. So it's are we prepared with the right tools and techniques to be able to like just look at these things that maybe once looked like huge mountains to climb and we were like struggling like getting up them to really just being like a beep, like a little speed bump in the road that we get over. And is that possible? Like, yes, 100% it's possible when we have the understanding of emotions and not letting them control us and experiencing them healthy, in a healthy way to get through them, but really being in control of our lives and, creating it from our own vision and thoughts and emotions.
Yeah, for sure. And emotions, I want to get into because it's such a big thing when it comes to getting started and doing stuff like this, whatever this might be. The big emotion is fear. How do you get over fear? Did you deal with that? Do you still deal with that? What is that like?
Hello. Yeah, yeah. I really had a lot of fear. And fear for me, I don't know at the time, like for me, I didn't know, like, oh my God, is it because I'm afraid? Like, it was just awkward. And it was the fear of the judgment, from other people. When I shifted from nursing into growing like an online business, and like they wanted me to put my picture online and do these things, I'm like, hello, I didn't even have social media till I was 42 because I thought it was an invasion of privacy, right? And now you want me to like host myself and put myself out there and share things with people. Like, yes, I loved these products, all this stuff I was using, but I was really afraid of other people's judgment. And it took community and it took people who had gone before me to really be there and be my cheerleader because they saw my greatness much before I did, right? Like they saw that inner fire and those skills and like what was possible. They saw this, talking on podcast possible. And I'd been like, yeah, no way, So that was the first fear. The next thing that came up, Jack, is at the end of that first year, I had some confidence, right? I was like, wow, I did some like emotional intelligence stuff. I did some mindset stuff. And then I had this vision that just grew bigger, right? And the burning desire inside grew bigger and I wanted it. And I was like, and I knew what to do. I had people now supporting me. And yet there I was, like, just not doing it. And I couldn't figure out. I'm like, why are you not doing what you need to do? Like literally having these conversations with that little voice inside the head,
Mhm.
And I got curious on why that was. And I really let curiosity lead me down an entire path, which was just amazing. And I started having conversations with, like, say, someone like yourself who had gone before me, and you could hear what was in there. And you're like, oh, well, why don't you try this training or go to this or go to that? And so I did. I was an open book. And I'm like, all right, if it's going to get me there, let's go. And that's how I got into the world of transformational work. And I fell in love with that world. So
Now, you've had some serious challenges, it looks to me, because you suffered from a stroke.
I
What
did.
is this like a thing that runs in your family? What happened?
No, no, I got run over by a truck. I was sitting in my
Oh,
car, right? It gets better. So I was sitting parked in my car. A truck comes and runs, they were on their phone, they weren't paying attention. And so it leads, like everything, right? Every experience leads down a path. And so I was holistically healing my body for about 2 years. And I was doing an amazing job, but there was just that cervical spine injury. I couldn't kick it, and I was just tired of being in the pain. So I said, let's do the surgery. They had wanted to do it from the beginning. And I always believe in trying other things first before, going like drastic. So I waved the flag. I said, okay, let's do this surgery. I got things to do. This thing's getting on my nerves. And I go and I have surgery. And the first 2 weeks, I was amazing. I was out every day. I had my little collar on. My mom was here helping, doing my thing. And I walk into my home office and I reach up to turn on my light. And I had no idea what happened. It was just this. I had to end up having a posterior stroke. There was an artery, a main artery that leads to the brain that was dissected during the surgical procedure.
wow.
Yeah, and it caused a blockage. Blood sits there, it clots, and the clot breaks loose. And I'm
Wow.
lucky to be alive. So
Wow.
it was like, talk about of turning a mountain into a speed bump. And I thank God every day that I was emotionally and mentally prepared with the tools and the techniques or the things that I teach, right? So it was like already wrapped up into the world of transformation and emotional intelligence. And it really just, that's what got me through.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy and pretty scary. You're, I also see that you're a woman of faith.
Yeah.
And how important is that for your plan?
Hello, it's everything. It's everything because when I'm up to big things, like things are going to come up, right? And I've learned that when I hand it over to God, whatever it is for somebody else, to me, it is God, right? It's something bigger than myself. It's this all knowing. And when I can just relax and like loosen the grip of having to, do all the things myself or be in control of the things or know how they're going to happen and really just trust and have faith and use prayer, it's amazing. It's life changing. And I don't know how people have great success without having faith. I just don't know how they do it.
Yeah, I feel the same exact way, and I'm a real serious student of the Word of God, and I've been that way since 1987. And everything that I've achieved in my life has come from grace, from the God, that I believe in, which is the Lord Jesus Christ. And I totally believe every word of the Bible. And I was just so happy to see that you're a woman of faith and that you put God first, and you know that God has blessed you, and it's all good stuff. But your plan, when you start off your day, what is your plan? Like, do you have a routine that you follow? Do you have, what does your day look like?
Yeah, I always share, Jack. I always say before I even like open my eyes when I'm laying in bed is when I do my prayer and I visualize my day and I'm already thanking God for all the amazing connections and how, who's coming into my world that day and the success we're going to have and the conversations that are going to be. And, just so people understand, it doesn't mean like I'm always feeling amazing. Like there's challenges, right? And there was just something recently that happened. And so I'm in this little bit of like flow of it. But so I start my day that way, but I really want to put out there so people understand you're not always just waking up with a huge smile, or if you are, that's amazing. And then when I get up, it's really just having the routine of making sure that I'm feeling my body and taking my, supplements that I take. And of course, now my little baby aspirin, and really just doing the hard things first. And for me, it was disciplining myself to get organized enough. So, because as your vision grows and as your business grows, like you're busier, and it's like I sit there and overwhelm will come in until you have that organized plan. And really, I have a calendar. And so now I have color blocks, and these are the 2 hours I spend on this, and this is 3 hours I spend on this, and this is my me time, so it's built out now, and really just saying no to things that do not serve my bigger purpose, or my goals. And a lot of times I found I was wasting time doing things that were just frivolous or saying yes to things because I have felt obligated to. So all that kind of stuff is out of the way now.
Yeah, totally. And this is a good time for me to take a minute and plug my sponsor that allows me to do this podcast, which is smoothietext.com. And smoothietext.com is really a revolutionary service on how in just 2 minutes a person can sign up to this free subscription, give the address they're shipping the smoothie mixes to, give the credit card number they would use. So when they get a smoothie text daily, if they see a flavor they like, they just click #1 on their phone and they get a canister of their smoothie mix sent to their home. It takes just 3 seconds. And every day around noontime, they get a new smoothie text message with a new flavor. And so just a plug to my smoothietext.com business, which is, again, the sponsor for my show, allows me to do a lot of things in life. And because we're talking about health, I mean, how important is health? We know it's important, but like, talk about fitness. Do you get into a fitness routine? What is that all about?
Oh my goodness. I don't have a great fitness routine. I'm not even going to lie. And this stems back to, everything. I truly believe everything in life we tell ourselves is a story, regardless of, and there is real trauma that happens, but there's stories around it. So in 2000, as if the stroke wasn't bad enough, in 2011, my lower spine had ruptured and I was actually left with paralysis and laying in a hospital bed, right, for several months. And then being handed papers of disability, being said, you're never going to go back to full functioning and we're really sorry and we have nothing else we could do for you. Insurance kind of like, okay, well, we're not paying for physical therapy anymore because you're on disability. I was like, what? And I never saw it that way. And so I spent 5 years really in severe pain. But I went back to work. Like I got my functioning back. I mean, I fell a lot. There was a lot of other surgeries that had to happen from injuries that happened learning to walk again. So and then just a few years later, the car accident, just when I was really getting good. So then the car accident, then the stroke. So my physical therapy has really been kind of my routine of working out. I honestly am a little bit afraid when it comes to weightlifting or things like that. Walking, I love it. It's great, but like as soon as you want to get me in a gym and get me with a trainer, I'm just like, and I don't know that it is correct to do at this time. So I'm sticking with my physical therapy.
Yeah, yeah. I made a post, I think it was yesterday, on how physical therapy is a part of life. And if you don't exercise daily, which is physical therapy, the golden years aren't golden years. And I mean,
Yeah.
for me, the fitness life has been my life. When I look at my hand, what I've done, and this has helped out not only myself, but so many, like my whole plan is in my hand. When I see my hand, I see my spiritual life, my family life, my fitness life, my business life, and my social life. And those are the things I work on every day. And so my fitness life has become important. But I get what you're saying, because you don't want to cause any other issues with broken arteries or veins or
Oh,
anything. You know what I mean? That's like,
that's
you don't want any bursting going on.
I know. So, but yeah, I'm just following up with the physical therapy, from the plan from the physician, and then I take it from there. It's so many things. When I look back, I'm like, girl, sometimes I'll just look in the mirror and if I'm feeling a certain way, and I'll just say to myself, I'm like, girl, you have been through things that would like knock other people out of the game, and here you are. And I'm like, is this my journey? Like, how do I get to make it easier, And I believe we're all here for our own specific reason on our own specific path to learn the lessons that come from it. And, if we're not learning the lesson from a situation, we'll repeat the situation, right? So having consciousness and emotional intelligence is so important to be aware of like what's showing up, why is it showing up, right? Take what we get from it. I say that stroke, like I was probably talking about the stroke with a smile on my face about weeks after having a stroke. Like it was a little bit crazy. And it wasn't always easy to navigate, but there were so many blessings and lessons and knowledge and what I tapped into like during that whole process that it was just like, well, thank you for that gift.
Yeah, I do. And you mentioned how important it is to like be teachable and be a student. And how,
Mhm.
I mean, being an entrepreneur, you've got to be teachable all the time. You have to be always learning, especially in this digital world. And I know you're a digital creator. Talk to me about that.
Oh my goodness. So I was the girl who, like, even if you asked me to turn on the computer, I was afraid to hit the wrong button. Like I thought I'm going to lose everything I have. It's going to blow up. And I'm not kidding. I was like, social media, 42 years old, very first ever social media account using technology. I was an ER nurse, right? Like I could use defibrillators, IV pumps, but I didn't use computers. And I grew up with typewriters in school, like I'm at that age. We didn't have this stuff. And now here I am, like really going out there and using social media and these platforms and learning, like building out my whole program and go high level and really just doing the do and figuring it all out. And I feel like my brain just expands. It's such a great feeling now. At first, it can be overwhelmed, but when you realize that when you're doing something that's out of your comfort zone at first, whether it be using digital marketing, digital media, social media, whatever that is, going live, like, yeah, just know that that's normal. And every person who has gone first actually experienced that too. And sometimes when I was first learning to do all these things, it felt like I was walking through quicksand. That's like I always say that it was like, whoa, and I was just laughing at myself, being like, just do it. Like this could take you 5 minutes and it's taking you 5 hours, but as long as I got it done. And so now over time, right, when you do something repetitively, hello, that's where you get confident in it, right? And we have that clarity of what your message is and really what your greater purpose is, right? When we tap into that I am, I always say our God power is greater than our willpower, right? Because we'll run out of willpower. But if you have your God power and you know that He brought you here for a specific reason because you have a message and you have a job to do, that's what keeps me going.
No, no doubt. No doubt. Your I can score is much more important than your IQ score. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. When you talk about the challenges you've been through and having to learn new stuff, I totally understand what you're talking about. How important is being consistent and getting through stuff, no matter what? The power of momentum. What is that all about?
Oh my God, it's everything. And it was everything that people have preached to me when I first became an entrepreneur, consistency and sometimes in the mundane task, and I had to learn that. And it's really exhausting when you put your foot on the gas, right? And you get going and then you just like take your foot off the gas because you lose all the momentum. Then you got to put your foot on the gas. And when we put our foot on the gas, we get going, it takes time to build up that momentum and that energy and that flow. If you could just keep your foot on the gas and that means staying consistent in all the little actions, right? And whatever that phone call is, the detail is, the email, the follow-ups, to really, and I had to learn that. It's taken me a long time. And I think it's all part of the process. I don't think I'm any different than anyone else. Maybe they come out and they become an entrepreneur and they're consistent immediately, but that was not me. So
Yeah, for sure, because that's something you don't just do once and it's over with. It's something you have to deal with all the time. It's like letting go of fear. You have to do that all the time. This is like not a one-time deal. It's consistent. It's
yeah.
constant, never changes. Yeah, it's really something. You're also a best-selling author. What's going on with that? How'd you do it? You wrote a book?
Isn't that fun? I co-authored. So I co-authored with other female entrepreneurs, sharing our story, sharing our challenges. Because when you are first getting started out, it could be intimidating. So when you're hearing and reading about other women's paths, you start to realize like, hello, like they all go through the same thing. It's very similar experiences and those feelings of that emotion of that, maybe imposter syndrome of, that not good enough, all those type of things. And so co-authoring these books, I did two of them. And now the next one will be my own. And I'm also created my own training program, which I'm super excited about. So my book will, it'll be based on that. And that's when I have, more time in my day. I'm just like, there's so many things we're doing right now. Coaching Academy here in South Florida. There's so many amazing, incredible things. And one thing I think, Jack, that helps you asked about consistency is like, I will make myself a promise. If there was something that's really important that I want to get done that day, like I won't go to bed until it's done.
Yeah,
and so
powerful.
that's discipline. That took some time, but now I'm there and I'm just like, yeah, you don't get to go to bed yet, like you didn't finish this. And even if it's something that's uncomfortable, it's like, and what's amazing is once you get going and you just do one little step at a time, it's amazing how it just opens up and it all unfolds and you're like, okay, and you just move and get it done.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I love the Fighting Network, because everybody that I've talked to in my podcast, we all deal with these same invisible bridges that we have to cross every day. It's not just cut out for certain people. So when someone thinks about, getting started in a business, they just have to cross the same bridges that we cross. It's not just for us, it's for them as well. One of them, which is a big deal, is loving what you do for work. And this is challenging because if you don't love what you do for work, it's tough to get like through life. So you love what you do for work. Look at you. You're in red. You get the red lipstick. You're full of love. You look great.
Oh, thank you. And, I can honestly say that, being a nurse, I started in nursing at the age of 17. I'm now 50, right? So I still have like my toe in nursing. So it's been 33 years and it was my passion and purpose 100,000% until that day I recognized that exhaustion kicked in. And Jack, it took me 2 years. Like the solution wasn't right there. And I knew it wasn't leaving the hospital that I was managing. I knew it wasn't the people. I knew I wanted out, but I didn't know what that was. And it took 2 years. And in those 2 years, I worked in a job that I no longer loved, and it was exhausting. Like, so I don't know how people do that on the regular and maybe they don't know different, and that's because of that. Like, one of the things I teach, that course from Stanford, it reconnects you with your passion and your purpose, and it gives you that clarity, right? Because you get to have a fulfilling life. We're not supposed to go home exhausted at the end of the day, and so often too, I think with women, I love working with women, probably because I understand this better, right? But we so often put ourselves on the back burner, and put everybody else's needs in front of our own, including our job, right? Job, children, all the things, partners, just helping other people in life. And we think it's a good thing. and truth is you're showing up exhausted in life. Like you're not putting yourself first. And so your family and your loved ones they're getting the rest of you versus getting the best of you. And you may not even be aware of it. Right. And then once you are, when we know better, we do better. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a big challenge because if you go to work every day and you just don't like what you do, you have to justify it. You just can't say, I hate my job because then you'd really be miserable,
Yeah.
go to the nearest bridge and jump. I mean, so you have to justify it and however you do that. So something we all have to work through. Working with people is a big challenge too. Especially, being an entrepreneur, it's very difficult to be successful, as a hermit. If you're going to be successful, you've got to be good with people.
Yeah.
So this impersonal love for all people is something I've really worked on my whole life. I've gotten a lot better with it, accepting people for the way they are and not trying to change others, but change yourself. Do you have to do that too?
Yeah, well, yes, and through the transformational training work and all of that I've become a trainer in. And I think it's so important. And anytime I'm working with my students, or I host a mastermind as well, the Think and Grow Rich for Women. And so we were on there last night, and it's so funny sometimes, and it's like we always want to look outside of us. And we always want to point a finger on how somebody else is making us feel or how somebody else is this or else is that. It's like, no, like everything comes from within. And when we can understand that and start doing the work to heal the things from our past and heal from childhood and have that full understanding of, that the people that raised us or the people around us and they're doing the best they can with what they know. And I know that's hard a pill to swallow. Sometimes you're like, no, they're just an a-hole. And I'm like, okay, but why are they an a-hole? Like what's their past? What's their story? Like maybe they're not healed. Maybe they're walking around. They're not conscious. They're not your people. So are they the a-hole or what's up with you still sticking around and letting them make you feel the way you feel, And so when I started to understand myself better and give myself grace and stop judging myself, right? Then that reflected in my outer world. So I can look at people and no matter where they are, what they're doing, just really accept. And that took time. Like even with the understanding, it still took time for that to really set in, and you'll see people living in their victim state and you're listening to them. You're like, oh, okay. Like I see here, how about you just look at them and go, oh, I see where you are. And how about you be in such a way that you support that person without having to tell them to do different by being you be, right? It's a be, do, have. You get to be the light you want to see in the world. You get to be the love you want to see in the world. You get to be the grace, the understanding. When you are that shows up in your space more, and you're literally creating a space for others to show up differently. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Because every day we're tested by these things. And if we're not good at that, if we flunk, people testing, it's a tough life. I mean, life
Yeah.
is miserable if you have a problem with people.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And it starts with ourselves because if you have a problem with yourself, you're going to have a problem with people, like you said. And so, I mean, we could go on with this, for a while because I really love what you're talking about. It seems like we're really gelling, and that's why I knew you'd be such a good guest on
Yeah.
my podcast. So tell me now, we've got something you want to plug. You've got what's going on, and whatever it is, let me know. I'll put this up in the description when we post this on Spotify. Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I would love it. We're going to relaunch the Clarity Catalyst for women. There's also a course for men. Guys are always like, what about us? Well, okay, we have one for you too, right? But the Clarity Catalyst for women is going to start again. It's an 8-week course. It's from Stanford University. It was part of their business and master's degree course of transformation. So it's not only a healing course, but it brings out that creativity and helps cultivate your intuition and create new conversations with time and money. Because there's nothing better than turning your clarity into currency, right? And time freedom. But everything starts once we have that. So that course is starting this summer. We have introductions starting in June. I can send you, if you would, the link. I'll send you the link that people can stay connected. All my information's in a little link I have. It's called Jenell.Comey, Komi.com or .io. Sorry. So we can put that up there, but everything will be in there. And I'm super excited so that we're relaunching this. It'll be the first one this year. So
Yeah, that's always fun to have these new projects you're working on. It makes life great. And helping others really makes life great. And you're certainly good at that, I can tell. And so we're going to make sure we post that link up for everybody that's interested in getting back to Jenell. If you want to connect with her and plug into her support system, that's what the Fighting Networker is all about. And Jenell, thank you so much for your time. I know you're probably busy. We're all busy. But even if not, enjoy your day, whatever it might be. And we'll be in touch again. Because we'd love to have you back as a guest, maybe 6 months, a year from today, and you can update us on how awesome things are going. How's that?
I would love that. Thank you so much for having me on here. It's amazing. So thank you. You're incredible.
Oh, thank you. Likewise. So, folks, thanks for joining us again in our little talk we have here with Jenell Kelly, who is an awesome lady, and we hope you connect with her if you think she can help you. All the details will be in the description. So God bless all you do, Jenell. We'll be in touch, and bye-bye, everybody.